Welcome to This Explainer, where we're going to completely demystify the complex world of construction and engineering project management. Today, we're focusing on the absolute key to success: synergy and interdepartmental integration. Think about a massive construction site for a second. It's chaotic, right? You've got hundreds of people, millions of dollars in play, heavy machinery everywhere, and just endless materials. So how does it all come together without collapsing into total disaster? Well, every successful project needs a central nervous system. It needs a brain, and in this industry, that brain is called project control.
To understand how a project actually avoids chaos and gets delivered successfully, we're going to navigate through the vital lobes of this brain. We'll start with the project control brain, move into planning and cost setup, look at tracking cash and performance, explore early warning systems, dive into integration, and finally wrap up with real-life lessons and reporting. Section 1. The Project Control Brain, Connecting the Vital Functions. Let's kick things off by mapping out the core anatomy of our project's brain to understand what it actually does.
Project control basically connects three core functions: planning, cost control, and monitoring. And it's really not just about filing reports or staring at mundane spreadsheets all day. It's a highly dynamic, continuous cycle. You have planning, which is your time control. You've got cost control, covering the budget and cash flow, and then monitoring and reporting. The ultimate goal? Ensure the project is delivered on time, within budget, and exactly as planned. Because without this brain functioning properly, you're looking at severe delays, massive cost overruns, and ultimately, failure. Section 2. Planning and cost setup. Building the foundation. You see, before anyone swings a single hammer or pours an ounce of concrete, we absolutely have to establish our targets. Success always starts with a clear roadmap. We step logically through a process. First, we define the scope and deliverables. Then, we break that massive scope down into manageable pieces using a work breakdown structure, or WBS. Next, we sequence those activities, figuring out exactly what has to happen before the next thing can start. And finally, we set a baseline schedule. That baseline is our stake in the ground. It's the gold standard we'll measure our reality against later.
Now, the crucial point when you're sequencing those activities is identifying what's known as the critical path. This is the longest sequence of dependent activities in your project, and it dictates your absolute shortest project duration. Why does this matter so much? Well, if a single task on this critical path is delayed by even 1 day, your entire project is delayed by 1 day. The golden rule here is simple. If you don't plan it right today, you won't control it right tomorrow.
And of course, parallel to time is money. You can't manage what you don't measure. By categorizing expenses into a cost breakdown structure, things like direct costs for labor and materials, indirect costs for site overheads, and those absolutely crucial contingencies for risks, we establish a financial baseline. This approved budget becomes our performance measurement baseline. Just like the schedule baseline, this is the financial anchor we'll use to measure all our future performance.
Section 3. Tracking cash and performance, the pulse of the project. Now let's explore how we actually track this vital pulse once execution begins.
I really want you to remember this phrase. Profit is important, but cash is critical. A project can look wonderfully profitable on paper, but if you run out of cash in month 3, the whole thing grinds to a halt. Often, the money going out, paying for materials, equipment, and labor, happens way faster than the money coming in from the client. Managing that gap and keeping a positive cash balance is literally the lifeblood of the project lifecycle. To know if we're truly succeeding and maintaining that lifeblood, we translate raw site data into actionable metrics using a brilliant concept called Earned Value Management, or EVM. EVM gives us two massive indicators. First is the Schedule Performance Index, or SPI. If your SPI is exactly 1, you are perfectly on schedule. Drop below 1 and you're falling behind. Second is the Cost Performance Index, or CPI. Again, 1 is perfectly on budget. Below 1 means you're bleeding money. It's a quick, undeniable health check for the whole project.
What's really fascinating is how we can chart these exact formulas over time using what we call an S-curve. We track 3 things together: planned value, which is what you plan to do, actual costs, which is what you actually spent, and earned value, the value of the work you physically completed. By tracking these over time, we can instantly spot variances. Even better, we can use these trends to forecast the estimate at completion. That means management can see exactly where the final cost is heading months in advance, completely eliminating any of those nasty financial surprises at the end.
Section 4. Early Warning Systems, the reflexes. So what actually happens when that forecast starts looking troubling? How do we react before it's too late?
Well, we absolutely do not wait for a disaster to strike. A smart project control system has an early warning system built right in. We actively monitor real-time indicators on the site. Is labor productivity suddenly dropping below 80%? Are material deliveries persistently running late? Are quality failures causing a sudden spike in rework costs? Seeing these early indicators lets us fix the problem when it's just a tiny spark rather than waiting for it to become a raging fire. See it early, act early, and stay in control.
By assessing the likelihood of an issue against its potential impact using a risk-level matrix, our system reflexes instantly kick in. If a material delay has a high likelihood and a high impact, it lands right in the critical red zone. This mandates immediate escalation to the project manager to take corrective action, like expediting deliveries or resequencing work. Remember, the earlier we act, the smaller the impact.
Section 5, Integration. One unified team. Here is where we get to the absolute secret weapon of project success. Because all of these schedules, EVM formulas, and risk matrices mean absolutely nothing if the different departments aren't actually talking to each other.
This is the true essence of interdepartmental synergy. Project control just cannot exist in a silo. Planning, cost control, procurement, construction, QA/QC, they all have to fit together like puzzle pieces. When procurement tells planning that the steel is delayed, planning immediately adjusts the schedule, and cost control adjusts the cash flow. Because they're integrated, they feed perfectly accurate, real-time data straight into a single executive dashboard. This gives management crystal clear visibility on progress, budget, and risks. It guarantees that whether you're in muddy boots on the site or in a suit in the boardroom, everyone is working from one undeniable version of the truth.
Section 6. Real-life lessons and reporting. Managing reality. Let's bring this all together by looking at what happens when our perfectly integrated plan meets the harsh reality of the construction site.
On day one, we always expect a perfect world. We expect smooth coordination, materials arriving right on time, and flawlessly accurate data. But what really happens? Reality is dynamic. We face design changes, rework, weather delays, equipment breakdowns, and incomplete data. Good project control is not about creating a perfect plan and then just walking away. It's about managing that messy reality. It requires daily discipline to collect data, adapt to changes, and constantly realign the team to stay on track. Ultimately, project control isn't just about software or charts or spreadsheets. It's a unified mindset. It's about departments working together, breaking down silos, and turning absolute chaos into total clarity. When we integrate, communicate, and act early, we turn challenges into opportunities. So, taking all of this in, how will you apply this centralized, synergistic brain to ensure your next big project doesn't just survive, but truly thrives?